You get 50 proposals from a bunch of people who maybe can barely even like log into HubSpot, like don't actually have meaningful experience in the product. You go to community and get some resources to do it yourself, but like there was no great option for seriously qualified, vetted, done for me help. And that's what Profoundly is.
Yeah. And you know, it's like, to Jason's point, just the scope of what we see is it runs the gamut. You've got 5-6 figure needs and 2-3 figure needs. Like the point is, if you need help, you can find it here, and it's easy.
This is the Built Happily podcast, where we dive into building apps, companies, and relationships in the HubSpot ecosystem.
As HubSpot grows, so does the opportunity, and we put you in the room with the people making it all happen.
On this week's episode of the Built Happily podcast, we've got Jason, Azocar, Brian, Garvey, two all-stars coming in from Profoundly.
Jason and Brian tell us the story of how they created Profoundly from the ground up, from the rumblings of the first idea to its conception, getting their founding pros, and what the future looks like for the platform and its impact on the HubSpot community. All that and more on this episode of the Built Happily podcast. Folks, welcome to another episode of the Built Happily podcast. We have some very special guests today. We have Jason and Brian from Profoundly here to tell us the story of how Profoundly came to be. Guys, we didn't give you any sort of prep or plan or script or questions or anything.
Nor do we ever.
Nor did I don't even know if we gave you any context of what this show is about and what we actually do. When we started this show a while ago, the plan was that we wanted to talk to other people in the HubSpot app ecosystem specifically that built apps. And we wanted to tell the story of how did you build it, right? And what was that process like? And what we quickly realized is we'd probably make it through half a season, given that the pool of the amount of people that have done that is still quite small, right? And what we realized is there's much more than that people have been building in the HubSpot universe, ecosystem, ethos, zeitgeist, whatever you want to call it, this world that this orange, wonderful world we all live in, right? There's a lot more than just apps people have built. People have built communities, they've built partners, they've built something cool in the tool. They have built apps, they've built careers for themselves, they've done some really wild things. You guys have built something that is probably one of the biggest fundamental shakeups to the world of partners and consulting and getting help with HubSpot. And we wanted you guys to come on today and tell us the story of how Profoundly came to be and what you guys learned along the way, and maybe what you're excited about for the future and how you guys built this thing. Does that sound like a good plan?
Sounds like a great plan. Thanks for having me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I want to Tarantino this first. I want to give you guys just a chance to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your history in the HubSpot world. And then I'm going to kind of have you guys explain what Profoundly is after. And then we'll kind of go back in time to talk about how this all came together and then where we go from here. That sound good? Brian, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sounds great. Again, thank you both for having us. We're excited to be here. It's great to see you both again. In terms of my background, so started off my career in management consulting. I led strategy at Amazon for a number of years, and then had the incredible fortune to join HubSpot in the customer success organization, where I saw sort of firsthand, got to know what customers are trying to do with HubSpot, a little bit about their businesses and so on, and sort of how we can help them grow better than ever. And as part of that, sort of those conversations, had the opportunity to write a memo or a narrative coming from Amazon. I for better or for worse, I brought the memo and the narrative from Amazon to HubSpot. Wrote a memo, a narrative on how to scale differently through the channel, which put me sort of on a glide path to lead the solutions partner and provider ecosystem for a number of years, and had the incredible fortune to get to know those partners and work with those partners directly and those customers, and scale massively. We adopted the strategy to scale selling and servicing through expert partners, and that's what happened. So excited to be here and excited to be partnering with Jason on what we believe is a real enabler for customers and partners to scale better with Profoundly.
Thank you, Brian. Jason.
Love it. Well, first of all,
What's your
thanks
story?
guys. Thanks guys for having us. Really appreciate it. Oh man, the story, where to begin? So I've been in the HubSpot ecosystem for what feels like forever. I mean, I got to HubSpot. So let's see, I joined HubSpot in 2012 as a tech recruiter, which was a lot of fun. This was back in the days when the conversation around CRM was like, should we have a CRM? Is it just a free thing? Would anybody like it? We don't know. It was a lot of fun to listen to those conversations. Got to be at HubSpot for 3 years, ended up leading tech recruiting, which was a blast. Left HubSpot in 2015, did some consulting for a couple of years, but drank an awful lot of the you should probably be a founder at some point in your life Kool-Aid from the HubSpot folks. I mean, I think one of Dharmesh's favorite slides is like, if you're ready to start something, do it. If you're not ready, come to HubSpot for a few years, get your MBA in startups, and then go do your thing. And that like lodged itself in my brain. So the plan was always to start something. I was really fortunate to start HubSearch in 2019, which has been laser focused on HubSpot from day one. I mean, if anyone doesn't know, it's a recruiting organization that's like completely focused on HubSpot. Like everything that HubSearch does is HubSpot related, which was amazing. Got to lead HubSearch for a number of years. I'm now the former CEO of HubSearch. Bridget, my wife, stepped into that seat a few weeks ago. And now get to build profoundly with Brian. I mean, talk about hitting the co-founder lottery. And to Brian's point, we think we've built something that fundamentally shifts the way that folks in the HubSpot ecosystem get help with the product.
Yeah.
And that's really our mission, is like enable people to get help, get maximum return on their HubSpot investment.
Yeah. So walk us through so Profoundly in the grand scheme of things just launched, right?
Max.
What, Dax?
How are you going to jump over the profound name that we stumbled across and finally thought of the thing that snapped for us when we talked to our friend Chris, one of you guys' founding pros. Man, I just been trying to hold my tongue, but it's called Profoundly. We were like, oh man, stop with the name.
I clocked it. I clocked it the second I heard it. Right.
Good for you.
We talked about it with Chris. Right. Amazing name. And I was gonna get there, dude. Because I do want to know. I want to build up a little bit, right? Because I know there was probably a moment where you guys thought of the name Profoundly and you went, "Oh wow, that really makes sense," right? So I want to hear about that moment, right? But before we get there, because we're gonna get there, okay? I want to know.
He loves to fly.
I like the build up, okay? I'm a director, all right. So let's lay down the groundwork for anyone listening who hasn't heard of Profoundly before. Like, what it just launched. What is it for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, it's a platform. It's a marketplace where if you've got a HubSpot need, we've got an expert who can help you.
Gotcha.
It's that simple. We make it ridiculously easy to get the help you need with HubSpot.
Awesome. So it's a place you can find pros.
Yep.
Right.
You got it.
So talk to us.
It's a great name.
Yeah, it's a great name. It's a great name. And I want to get to it. Talk to us about like how the two of you collided, right? And ended up like, what was like the first spark that like led to this thing getting created and you guys kind of coming together and going, wow, we should build this thing, right? Tell me about the moments leading up to it, the conversation you guys were having, where the idea was sparked, how you got together. What do we need to know?
Yeah,
I love it. I'll give it. So, okay, I'll give it to you from my side. So Brian and I have talked about this and we're sort of like murky on where the conversations actually began.
Yeah.
But at some point years ago, I don't know, 3 years is our best estimate. Some point years ago, we got connected somehow on LinkedIn. There was some common connection made, and we were chatting. And obviously, Brian was at HubSpot. My whole focus was HubSearch, and Brian said something like, "Hey, we should meet. We should have a conversation." I had already moved to Cleveland at this point, so I wasn't in Boston, and I'm not sure Brian knew that. He basically said like, "Hey, we should get together. We should meet." And I said, "I will be on a plane tomorrow." And I got my butt on a plane and flew to Boston.
Nice.
And it's like, look, at that point in my life, like everything. So HubSearch was laser focused on solutions partners. That was the whole go-to-market. Like HubSearch started by saying like, we're only going to work with solutions partners. So at the end of the day, when the guy who runs the global solutions partner program goes, "Hey, we should meet," you book a plane ticket and you get your butt to Boston.
Absolutely.
So I did. We got to chat. We had a great dinner, and we just kept the conversations going from there.
Yeah. If you've spent any time with Jason, I think you immediately understand that he is from the not messing around crew. Like, we had an opportunity to connect, and he literally did. It was in the evening that we were talking, and he was on a plane first thing the next morning. And it's been a great partnership. And I know we'll talk about the name, which full credit goes to Jason for the name.
Okay, got it. So now is what Profoundly like launched at, like in its sort of like, we'll call it, obviously it's new, it's going to have a final form, but like final form as of today, right? Was this the plan from the beginning, or were there like alternate ideas on like how you guys were going to do this? Like, tell me about how it's sort of like evolved and got to like where it is today.
Yeah, I can start. So this is the vision. This is the vision. We wanted to make it ridiculously easy, as I mentioned, to your point, for people to find pros, for people to find the help that they need to grow better with HubSpot. I think in all of our collective experience, like it just wasn't as easy as we wished it were to find that help previously, whether it's a customer or a partner who's looking for help or whomever. And then on the flip side, you've got this army of HubSpot experts and pros who know and love HubSpot as well or better than HubSpot does. Like, they're doing incredible things on the platform. They're doing things on the platform no one ever dreamed of before. And yet, like, just because of the way things were, they're not as discoverable as, they should be. And so we set out to make that whole process as easy as humanly possible.
Like I can give you a little more context. I just did give you some context. Like, I tried to solve this thing a couple of times and failed miserably. Like at the missing, Brian was the missing piece. Dax, you probably remember this, man, years ago when we helped us with some stuff at HubSearch. Like, it was, granted, that context there was like, hey, we should custom build an in-house ATS, which ended up being an insane idea, which is why we didn't fully do the thing. But we talked about like, there's got to be another motion. In other words, like my lens on the ecosystem for that time was from a recruiting organization, from a staffing company. And it's like, as much value can be there and as good as that motion can be for some, there's an awful lot of places where that just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Right. But that doesn't solve the need. There's still HubSpot customers, solutions partners that need talent, need to bring in somebody fantastic. And there wasn't a great option out there. So that's part of what drove it for me.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal. It's a big deal for people that need, like, the solutions partner program, obviously, is I wouldn't say it's very rigid, but it means exactly that. It is, I'm usually coming to HubSpot. The path I want to say is predefined. I'm coming to HubSpot. I'm recommended a partner. I onboard via that partner. That's how the relationship starts. And I'm intended to kind of carry on that relationship as I grow with HubSpot. But if you have HubSpot, you know what you've needed, you've set it up yourself, you just have some questions. It's the pond is so big, and some people don't want a partner. Some people just want a guy or they want a gal. And some people have a specific project, and a lot of partners that will align with that because, it's one project that I can't break my stride for this one project. It'll cost me too much to get you into our system, let alone do your small project. So, and that's just because of the nature of HubSpot and how wide and how big of a platform it is and things that do. Like we said early on, Jason, we first met years ago working on a project. we were trying to, again, do a specific small thing. And what yours turned into was Hub Search, this crazy big idea. What mine turned into is Hapily. So we all kind of made these, we made totally the clay that we had, ended up making these bigger things. And not a lot of people have the opportunity because it's such a short path. And when you open up the landscape for people that have built things that kind of can see past your challenge and understand what you really want, I think that's the profound message here, is that when you don't have, when you let the marketplace, I guess it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm trying, I think I've wrapped my head around like the big problem Profoundly kind of solves for. And like, maybe I can test that theory against you guys and you can tell me if I'm thinking about it the right way or if I'm not.
Love it.
Right.
Love it. Bring it on.
So, something I definitely experienced a lot being, someone in the HubSpot ecosystem, that oftentimes people would come to me and be like, hey, do you know somebody that could help me with HubSpot? Right. And I would be in that awkward position of like, I know partners, like I know big bad partners with big teams, not bad, but like, big partners with big teams with big price tags. Right. And like, cause that's who I knew. Right. And there wasn't really like a way for me to just be like, oh yeah, I know this person, like they're pretty good at XYZ. Right. It was always like, all the people I know, they're going to be doing project work for a partner that's going to want to get you on a retainer, or they're going to want to do like a, it's going to be outside what you're looking for. It's not just like a guy who's got like a couple hours that can like help you with stuff here or there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I can't tell you how many times like, I would maybe try to like, send someone to George B. Thomas and George was so busy. He was like, hey, I got, it's, you have to buy this many hours and it's got to be this thing. And when the person just needed like a little bit of help. Right.
Yep.
And at the same time, I had plenty of like individual HubSpot consultants or like up and coming HubSpot consultants that are just like, man, it is really hard to break into the HubSpot ecosystem, right? Like I have no chance in hell of getting on the directory page because there's big, massive partners with huge budgets that do as a ton of work and get a ton of reviews and have the capacity to be able to be a company that's on that front page, which is all people are really looking at, right? How do I break into this space? Like, is my only route to go get a job at a partner agency, right? And so it was like this very interesting thing where lots of HubSpot customers, they don't quite need a partner. They just need a person. They need a pro, right? And they don't need like a full gigantic engagement, right? But then you had all these small people who could provide that. The issue is they couldn't get found by these people because the only avenue people had was like talking to their sales rep to see which partner they recommend or like going on the directory. Other than that, you're kind of out of luck, right? Yeah. And it very much feels like you guys are solving for that, right? Where it's like, if you are a freelance HubSpot, ninja that like knows you have the skills to do certain things in HubSpot, but like maybe you haven't been able to find a good home at a partner agency, or like, frankly, the job market's competitive. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get a job at a HubSpot partner agency, right? It feels like you have a place now to be like your, personal HubSpot partner directory or the marketplace that you're creating, right? And you have a way to now get found in an alternate way. And those people who need that versus the partner directory have a way to find you. Am I thinking about it the right way?
Yes, and I would say what we've attempted to solve is like, for customers, it's harder to find the help you need. That process, no matter who you want it from or the size of your project, like it can be cumbersome to find it, whether it's from a partner or an individual. And so what we've attempted to do on the platform is come as you are. Tell us what help you need and whatever words you have to describe it. We make that ultra simple and we'll take it from there. You basically can find any type of help on the Profoundly platform, whether that's an individual or large partners. Like we're creating a center of gravity for HubSpot help. We don't want individual customers having to think like, well, if I have a problem here, I know this person, or if I have a problem here, I have to go to somebody else. It's like, if you've got a problem or a need, we can help you with that.
Yeah. Well, and Max, the size of the project is an important distinction. It's like we've been wonderfully surprised by seeing some big, meaty projects come through the product, which is awesome. Like people are coming to Profoundly and posting like full integration projects, which is amazing. But on the smaller side of it, let's say you're a HubSpot customer and you're like, this thing is broken. Like I got 2 workflows that aren't fine. I need like 6 or 8 hours of help.
Mhm.
Where the hell do you go for that before Profoundly? Like there really was just no option unless you already knew
You
somebody.
post
Like if you,
on LinkedIn about it and hope you
well,
find
that's
somebody.
right. That's exactly the thing. You roll the dice. Like you go
Yep.
to Upwork and you get 50 proposals from a bunch of people who maybe can barely even like log into HubSpot, like don't actually have meaningful experience in the product. You go to community and get some resources to do it yourself. But like there was no great option for seriously qualified, vetted, done for me help. And that's what Profoundly is.
Yeah. And it's like, to Jason's point, just the scope of what we see is it runs the gamut. You've got 5-6 figure needs and 2-3 figure needs. Like the point is, if you need help, you can find it here and it's easy.
Yeah. And we try to be so intentional about building the pros that we have on the product are unbelievable. Like we're just over 100 pros. They're amazing. And we've tried to be super intentional about building a really diverse set of skills, right? Like there are individuals who are super deep on one thing, and there are HubSpot solutions partners that have really strong capability across a bunch of areas in the product and everything in between.
Yeah.
Tell us that, like, so how much of this, what, like I always get interested. It's like you're building a platform where, and like, by the way, is it supposed to be like mostly for like HubSpot specific help? Or are you guys like branching out into other areas beyond that? Is it always going to stay true to being like HubSpot specific help, or are there plans to kind of like expand it outwards to like, I don't know, like WordPress or other CRMs or like whatever it may be?
Great question. Like we definitely have been approached to expand to other places. We are very focused on HubSpot in this moment. Like, so that's our core. We also, because customers pull us there, like connected app partners is another area where we feel like the customer experience when they need help isn't what it should be. And so we want to make that simple, right? No more ping ponging back and forth. Our experts know the app and they know HubSpot. It doesn't matter where the problem lies, they can fix it. And so like, I would say if you think about concentric circles, HubSpot's at the middle. And then the app partners are sort of the circle right around that.
Nice. So I know we talked to Chris, and he was one of the founding pros, right? For Profoundly. And it sounds like when you guys kicked off originally, you had a group of pros that were available through the platform and participating already. Can you like talk us through like how you guys went about like finding those people, vetting those folks, getting them bought in? Like what was the process of like, getting that first cohort of pros, if you will, leading up to the launch?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Awesome question. So getting them bought in was the easy part for sure.
Yep.
Like the minute we started talking about this thing and the value to the pro and putting HubSpot at the center of your career and making it the focus of the way you earn your living, people were like, hell yes, sign me up. This is the biggest no-brainer in history. Thank God somebody's building it. The way we approached building the early set of pros, it was completely invitation only. Like when we first started the first 2 cohorts, we probably got to 65, 70 pros, 100% from our networks. I mean, we're super fortunate that we've been living in this space long enough, and I've been recruiting in this space for long enough that the network is pretty good. So we reached out to a bunch of people that we had some genuine evidence, some real signal that they were true badasses in HubSpot. It can really take on meaningful, sophisticated, complicated work for whoever needed it.
Yeah.
And that was where we started. And I'm so glad we did it that way. Like today, even true today, you can't just join Profoundly as a pro.
Yeah.
There's a deep vetting process. Like you have to go through an application process. You have to send in references, like work examples. You got to record a video talking about some of your most complicated work, et cetera. Like it's a pretty heavy application process. And we review each of those. We have conversations with every applicant before we say, all right, come on in.
Nice. So you're curating, kind of like best of the best, like HubSpot consultants that are like out there and available for this kind of work.
100%. That's the goal. And it's not necessarily the most senior. Like there's people that have been able to convince us they've done real, legitimate, sophisticated, complicated stuff in the year and a half they've been in the space. And obviously on the flip side, folks that have been cranking on this stuff for 12, 15 years.
That's awesome. And then, so you said that like partners can be on this too, as like pros people can find, like, is that process like similar or different in terms of like how a partner would be like a registered sort of like, pro that's like available on the platform?
Yeah. So it does come down to the individual, right? Each person on the platform is an expert. Like that's one of the things that we've really focused on, and working backwards from that person, that individual can be on their own. They can be a contractor, they can be an individual consultant, or they can be part of a multi-person sort of agency or organization. And like the idea that a partner, like each one of those entities could also be a partner, right? Within HubSpot. But the person on the platform helping customers is the direct expert with the skills that have been vetted and available.
So they might be there like representing a partner, but like the entity still there is still meant to be like a person, right? Versus just like you're hiring SmartBug or something like that. It's like, no, it's Ricky at SmartBug, who happens to be at SmartBug or something like that. Yeah.
Well, it was important to solve for our customer, right? It's like at the end of the day, there are customers who are going to come through the front door of Profoundly and have a big, sophisticated project that would be, for just being candid about it, would be really damn tough for one individual to pull off. No matter how good that one person may be at that particular thing, you can't be equally wide and deep across all HubSpot. It's too big. There's too much in there.
Yeah.
So for sure, there's projects that require a team.
Yeah. There was a lot of fog around that. I think that's one of the things that we heard from customers in the beginning was like, who do I bring in to do this thing? Of course, there's the role aspect, but then there's also like, do I hire a full-time person? Do I need a contractor because I want to give them direction day in and day out? Am I hiring an individual expert on a particular subject area? Like I want them to know what to do and go lead it. Or am I looking for like an organization who can span across multiple teams and who has the capacity to do that sort of a thing? And we shared some content on this and like a framework that resonated with customers, and it's been pretty popular. But like how you choose all of that before was like munged together. And we've tried to say like, you hire different people for different things.
What's interesting is that you're doing this kind of, Jason, like the background of being in the HR space and like the recruiting spaces. You have to teach people what to recruit, because they could be like, hey, I want a demand planner. And 100%. They're like, well, are you sure you want that? What do they want them to do? I want them to, do reports and stuff. It's like, not demand planning. That's something completely different. So having that, and on top of that, the way that you talked about, you have to vet people, right? Like the actual vet. I had sent a couple people over to sign up. They're like, hey, I'm trying to break in. Literally the exact same thing. Hey, I'm trying to get in HubSpot. Like I'm hearing a lot about it. I was like, oh, you should just go to Profoundly. So I just sent them over, and I was like, how'd you get? He's like, did you say you equip your account? He's like, no, I had to like make a video. It's like, oh, all right, well that's good. It's like they actually want to see who you are, what you're about, and make sure that you're fit for the platform. So again, what you're doing, that makes a lot of sense. And I like the answer around the marketplace economics, right? So HubSpot is the perfect place for this, because I would say the ecosystem is so huggable, so lovable. It's very accepting. It's very open. So when you have this marketplace economics where you're like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg style, right? You literally don't need to do anything. You just need to say, hey, we have food, and people will show up. And you guys have been, when you've been in the HubSpot ecosystem or ecosystem like this for so long, Brian, you guys are the perfect two people to really make this happen. Yeah. So I was really hyped to do it.
I'd love to. Oh, go ahead.
We're excited about that decision framework. So we've released a bunch of really cool content. There's so much more stuff we can do here, because what we're seeing is that, folks coming to Profoundly to get help, they can reasonably articulate what they're feeling in the moment. They're like, they know what the business needs. They understand what's not happening that needs to be happening. But that next step of going, okay, but who the hell should I actually be looking to for that help is so murky. It's
Mhm.
so difficult to know, okay, is it an individual? Is it a small team? Do I need an elite HubSpot partner? Like what is the best type of help for me to go chase? And there's so much cool stuff that we can do to remove that ambiguity and help folks who need help get really clear on the right type of persona to get them what they need.
Yeah. I also think like historically, lots of organizations have like put a lot of weight on the individual admin or the RevOps leader to say like, well, you're the admin, you should be able to do everything in HubSpot. And it's impossible, right? With a platform as powerful and sort of ever expanding, like you need the ability to be able to dip into certain experts, in moments of time to help you in certain things, whether it's an integration developer or a web developer, what have you. The admin that can do all of those things for large and scaling organizations is a bit of a unicorn. So now you've got this on-demand resource that you can use to do that cost effectively, in a way that works for you. So that's been helpful too, I think.
Yeah. Something I'm interested in kind of like knowing in terms of like the story and what it was like when you were introducing this to the world of HubSpot, right? Is like I can totally look at this and like see like, hey, this very much feels like a bit of a disruptor in the space of hiring help for HubSpot, which for all this time has very much been call support, and if that doesn't work, go hire a partner, right? And it's like very much been like set in stone that way for a very long time. Like maybe, yeah, if you were able to find a guy, you knew a guy, like you could do it. But very much the motion was go to the partner directory, find someone in there, or like get a recommendation from someone and work with a certified HubSpot partner to do XYZ, right? And I could probably understand that there were some partners looking at this that maybe like the status quo, like that system, like that sort of limited paths that people had in order to kind of get help through HubSpot. Did you guys like get any, like, what was the reaction from partners when you started to talk to them about this stuff? Was there any that pushed back or any that doubted it or any that like didn't, enjoy the idea that like it would become easier to hire folks that weren't HubSpot partner like agencies, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously you don't got to give any names, but like, what was that reaction? Was it mixed? Was they all on board? Like,
yeah, no, I think Jason mentioned earlier, like pleasant surprises. I think we were pleasantly surprised by the reception. Like,
really?
I think that we are also an enabler. I think we have lots of partners that are coming to us saying like, hey, how could we take advantage of Profoundly? Like we have needs and so forth, both in terms of people expertise that they need or planned or unplanned leave that is happening that they need to fill, all these different use cases that help partners scale better and cost effectively and all the things. So I think that's been a really pleasant surprise for us that we can help them. And then also there are things that partners just don't want to do. There are things that they're not purpose built to sort of accommodate. And, we offer the ability to help them with those things. In many instances, that allows them to maintain that relationship with that customer. And so it's a key way for them to scale. So yeah, I think the reception has been really positive.
Yeah. Yeah, Max, it's a great question because it could have gone differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It could have been different, but I've been so happily surprised and we've been so pleasantly surprised that like a bunch of our earliest customers were partners.
Yeah.
Come to us basically saying, oh, look, this appears like an awesome way to expand my bandwidth to serve end HubSpot customers if we get crazy busy and I need additional bandwidth, or if we take on a project that has some really specific, nuanced dev requirement.
Yep.
And I can't possibly make the argument that I should have that person full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Come grab a pro and get the project done.
Yeah, I think I was envisioning, some shadowy figures sliding a note under your door from the partner industrial complex, being like, "Keep things status quo. We don't like what you're doing." But like, I think the thing that I didn't think of, right, is like, it feels like not only are customers looking for these people, but like partners are too. just as much as a HubSpot customer would be,
Yeah.
right? So that's a really interesting kind of angle that I didn't quite view it from before we
Yeah.
talked through it. Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Like one of our first customers was a partner who was like, "Hey, I need some additional, pre-sale support from an expert in this particular area. Like I'll do the BDR demand gen sort of thing, but when I get on a phone call with a customer and they need to go deep on HubSpot, like I need that person."
Yeah.
And we were able to supply an expert who could do that. And it like massively allowed that partner to scale.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, I think, a use case that we necessarily had in mind in the beginning. But it's been a really popular one for us. And on the flip side, on the servicing side, like we have very established, let's say, partners who need nuanced expertise. And like, I mean, let's face it, the platform again is growing and it's complex and it's great. We had a partner work with one of the experts to do something for an integration that they couldn't do on their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. It's wild. These experts are like pros. They know what they're doing. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it gives us the ability, like we helping individual HubSpot experts thrive and helping HubSpot solutions partners thrive, not mutually exclusive. Like those two things can absolutely be true in the same sentence. So to Brian's point, we can help partners expand bandwidth and skill, and we can also absolutely help them say yes to more business, right? Partners are crazy busy. And, if we're talking plainly about it, there are lots of partners that are going to have to say no to smaller projects because of course they have to, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's not a 10K a month retainer, then it may not be the right fit for certain partners.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what Profoundly offers is like, well, why? Stop saying no, say yes, grab a pro, enable them to fulfill the business. And great. Now you've driven some revenue and unlocked the lifetime value from that customer or that client who you were about to turn away. Stop saying no to business.
Stop. Nobody grows when you got to say no. That was like our entire foundation for app commits back in the day, to help people just not say no. And when you can say yes, the world opens up. And I can't stress enough of how interesting that play is, because we see it every day with, they integrate or the onboarding of our apps, right? Where if you I need someone that's specifically really, really, really good at CMS modules. Oh, I need someone that's really good with email CMS modules, the pseudo CMS module, then jump that into code templates and you've got 3 different people in something that's really in the same. And it's impossible to have somebody that knows all of those things super nuanced. So that's a big up. No shadowy figures necessary, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's actually, you bring a really interesting point there, Dax. It's like, I wonder if there's ever, and maybe you guys have already done this, like I have no idea, like is there any sort of ability when like you're listing the things that you're good at in HubSpot to kind of say like, I'm a pro at this, I'm a pro at that, like is there any sort of ability to say like, hey, there's this app integration that I'm very skilled at using or I'm certified in or whatever? Like, I guess the question we're asking is like, when can we have a Profoundly Pro say that they are a certified event Hapily deployer, right? Like that's, is that something you guys are working on or already done, or what does that look like?
Yeah, already done.
Nice. Sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Like, is it just like, are you sucking in like all the apps from the marketplace and having that be something selectable on their profile, or like, how does that work?
Yeah, as part of the application process, we do dive deep on which connected apps the expert has expertise in implementing and integrating, and we go deep on that. Yeah, because it's an area where the customer experience, again, isn't what it should be.
Yeah.
If they need help with something, where do they go? And they go back and forth and back and forth. You don't have to do that anymore. You come to Profoundly, you can find who you need, you can find the help you need, and it's done. So
Dax, that makes me want to do like a Profoundly event Hapily certification or something, and do a whole
Absolutely.
thing with
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
one
would
of
be
the things
super cool.
I'm thinking too is when you have, trying to think the best way to say it. So showcasing, it's not necessarily showcasing the pros, but it is a place where pros can showcase their goods. So it's like a media section, your own channel where people are not only promoting the content, but not necessarily user stories, but here's a chance for you to show some of the things that you can do within the platform and make it like reveal during search. When I'm searching for, again, I need a custom dynamic email module that shows associated registered objects or associated session objects. And I can usually all this stuff that's like really, really nuanced inside of an email mod. And you can have that pro do a short of sorts and kind of get to know, oh, I love that person because I saw him do something like that.
Yeah.
You guys probably are already going to do that, but it's just the brain part that came to me is like, oh, if you do showcasing of that.
No, it's spot on, man. There's so much cool stuff that we're going to have the ability to do in the app. Like early on, like I mean, many months ago, we had to make the choice that I get probably every early like pre-launch tech company has to make. Like, do we pull a marketplace off the shelf? There's all sorts of marketplaces they can pull off the shelf and customize. And we seriously thought about it for a minute because it's a hell of a lot cheaper to market. And we didn't do that. We said we're going to want the ability to dramatically customize this thing in really interesting and nuanced ways. So we went down the build it ourselves path, which has been incredibly interesting and like the steepest learning curve that I've ever been a part of, but it's an awful lot of fun. And there's so much cool stuff. So much cool stuff we're going to be able to build into the app.
So can you tell us about the app? Like, did you just like build the entire thing on like HubSpot CMS and all the logic inside of HubSpot? Or is it a combination of you hired some devs to like build your own app that like sits on top of HubSpot? Like what's the build of
we're yanking the cord if it doesn't integrate with HubSpot. We're yanking the cord.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course it integrates.
It's a
with
custom
HubSpot.
Salesforce front end.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Imagine. We use HubSpot for all the things HubSpot's amazing at, and we use the app to manage the marketplace actions is the simplest way to say it. We got unbelievably lucky really early on to connect with a shop called Nor'easter Group, actually run by Sky John, who was a director of engineering at HubSpot for years, who I've known forever. Mm-hmm. And he built us the MVP. It was fantastic. It was a Ruby on Rails app. And it sort of spoke to HubSpot at the beginning. That wasn't really the focus. We're just like, let's get a prototype out that does the things that we care most about, which is customer can connect with pro and communicate and invoice in the product. Like the most basic definition of marketplace.
Yeah.
We're one iteration beyond that. So we're working with Computan. You guys probably know those guys. They do awesome work. They've helped us do a bunch of really cool iterative work on the app. We actually you heard it here for the first time. We actually just had a CTO join Profoundly. We haven't announced it publicly anywhere yet, which is
breaking news.
Like the most amazing thing. So we've got a CTO to join our team, which is incredible. And now we get to go really lean into the product roadmap that we've got, like this, pages and pages and pages of feedback that we've gotten from customers and from pros. Like the pros on the platform have been unbelievable. I literally said to each of them in our onboarding calls, you're signing up to be our product team. I hope you realize that. I hope you're cool with that. Like you are gonna help us build the pro experience of this thing, and a bunch of that's going to bleed into the way that customers experience the app. Like this, so that we've been so fortunate to have this incredible depth of feedback from users. It's just a wild advantage.
Yeah. So do they build it like in a way where it's like, yeah, the user interacts with the app, through their browser on the internet and everything, but then is it like sending like data into HubSpot that you guys can then see? Like, do you have like representations of like job postings and like communications going back and forth and like transactions? Like, what do you guys get to see in HubSpot?
Manual. It's more manual than I'd love to admit at this point. Well, we're still so early. This thing has been live for like 105 days or 110 days. Like it's still super, super early. But yeah, everything in the app is represented via job boards and deal flow. And there's just all sorts of interesting automation that's taking place. The goal is to get to a point where HubSpot is our unified view of all things customer. Like we want to be able to log into HubSpot and see absolutely everything happening with our customers in the app. And we're getting there.
Yep.
What's the future of this? What are you like most excited about for what you guys can kind of, do with this platform and how you can kind of change the HubSpot, community really kind of as a whole through it? Like what's next for Profoundly?
Yeah, that's such a good question.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the tough one.
I mean, right now we're focused on scaling, right? We've got customers coming in, we've got pros, we've got a great community. I want to just circle back quickly to something, Dax, that you mentioned about like the allowing pros to sort of show and tell what they've built. Like we're leaning into that motion with apps in particular. Like I think it's a great opportunity for pros to say, like, here's what I helped enable. They create a short, they create what we call case studies. And that goes out to all the other pros. That touches like hundreds of thousands of end users because of we've got so many people on the platform, and so it's a good opportunity for people to learn about like these apps that can help them grow better. So we're building that out. We have lots of exciting things that we're working on to help pros expand their areas of expertise and so on. So we're leaning in.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
think
big one.
so. Just shorter term, I'm all the things Brian said.
Mhm.
I'm super excited for the way that we're able to help partners.
Yeah.
Right. Like this, my assertion, part of my assertion here is that the way that partners have built over years is getting tougher and tougher. Like this, build a giant team of full timers. It's getting really damn hard to optimize margin in that model. And I think part of what Profound is going to be able to do is help partners become this what I think is the modern iteration of the partner, which is core group of full timers, bunch of really good contractors and freelancers in orbit with very specific sets of skills, plus AI, plus agents. Building the partner in a way where there's another option out there than a
Yeah.
whole bunch of full timers. And then look longer term, there isn't a reason in the world this thing's not a global product. It's probably going to take us years to get there, but there is no reason why HubSpot partners and HubSpot customers all over the planet can't get into Profound and get the help they need.
Awesome.
That's major, man. Well, we appreciate you guys jumping on because you have made a splash. It's an admirable splash very quickly. It was
It's a
not
profound
hard to find.
splash.
Profound splash. Was it hard to
Profound
hear
splash.
about it? Was it hard to find it? Was it hard to join the Slack community? So we always like to ask a couple of people or ask folks a couple questions before we leave out. Number one question for both of you guys, BGJA. Favorite dessert?
We have some
man,
hard
that's a
hitting
tricky one.
questions here.
Yeah,
At the end.
I'm going key lime pie all day.
Key lime pie. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I got to go ice cream. Any kind of ice cream. I'm in on ice cream. I like your logo.
You got top flav?
Top
You
flavor.
know what? I don't turn ice cream away. That's just part of my
Okay.
problem.
That's fair.
That was part of the logo. It makes everyone smile no matter where you're at in the world.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. We're gonna have to go way far away from anything I know. Favorite sports team? Sport agnostic.
Mm-hmm. I live in Ohio, but it will be the Patriots until I die.
Let's go.
I gotta go. I don't follow sports very closely. Full admission. But if I was gonna say a favorite one, the Lady All Blacks.
Is that what's
Rugby
the sport?
team.
Rugby. I was gonna ask. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, is that
Let's go.
Max? Is that paintball? I was like, was that paintball, Max?
True.
Last question, and we'll kick it out, is going to be your favorite color. Let's just get it. And I won't accept single word answers.
Can it not be orange though?
It's a single word
Sure.
answer, so it's not.
That's the
even really-
easy one. That's the easy
Yeah.
one. Favorite
I'm
color
going,
other than
no.
orange.
I'm going hunter green.
There
Okay.
it is. Ooh, that's
All right.
great. That's great.
Any shade of blue over here. And I got to go back and say, like, my favorite sports team, I have to say, like, my daughter's, lacrosse or
go.
softball team. Otherwise, I'm going to hear about it. So,
Before you get in trouble, it's all right.
Yeah.
Miz
Yeah,
Al
we'll-
can do some creative
I was
editing.
gonna say we'll chop that up. We'll chop that up, no problem. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on. We're really excited to see this blossom. And welcome to the software. It's going to be one of the things I forgot to say. You're in the software game now, and it's a world that when you own it and you run it, you understand why it's tough. So big ups for what you guys are doing, and we'll see you at the top.
Amazing. Thank you guys.
thank
Thank
you.
you guys.
All right, appreciate it.